All right, let's talk about web developers. Have you ever wondered what they actually do all day? It can feel like this secret world of crazy code and technical jargon, but I promise you, it's a lot simpler than it looks. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the web developer once and for all. So, to really get this, we're going to use one simple analogy for this entire explainer. Forget about code for a minute. Just picture this. Building and running a website is a whole lot like running a restaurant. Seriously, stick with me here. It's going to make perfect sense. Think about it, right? Every great restaurant has two totally separate parts. You've got the dining room, where all the customers are, and then you have the kitchen, where the real magic is happening behind those swinging doors. Web development? It's split up in exactly the same way. First up, you've got the front-end developer. Think of this person as the architect, the interior designer, and the host of the restaurant's dining room all rolled into one. They are completely obsessed with the user experience. If you can see it, click on it, or interact with it on a website, a front-end developer built it. And what are they working with? Well, they've got a few key tools in their toolbox. They use a language called HTML to build the actual structure, the walls, the tables, the chairs of our dining room. Then they use CSS for all the style, the paint color, the fancy lighting, the vibe. And finally, JavaScript adds all the interactivity. It's like the waiter who takes your order, or the lights that you can dim. Frameworks like React just help them do all of this stuff faster and more consistently. And this right here is the classic front-end nightmare. It's that feeling when they've built the most beautiful, perfect dining room, but then they find out the chairs wobble, but only for customers who happen to be using an iPhone sitting at that one specific table in the corner. It is a constant, never-ending battle to make sure the experience is perfect for everyone, no matter what device they're on.
Okay, so let's push through those swinging doors and see what's happening in the kitchen. This is the domain of the backend developer. They handle everything you don't see: the databases, the complex logic, the security. They're the ones making sure the food, or the data, comes out correctly, safely, and on time.
Their toolbox looks a little bit different. They're using languages like Python or Java to write the recipes, the core logic of how the application works. The databases are like the giant pantries, storing all the ingredients, or in this case, all the user data. And cloud services like AWS, well, those are the massive industrial-grade ovens and refrigerators that keep the whole operation running smoothly, even when it's super busy. And here is their version of a complete nightmare. This is the exact same feeling as the main walk-in freezer breaking down in the middle of the Saturday night dinner rush. If the database locks up, no new orders can be placed, no information can be found. The entire restaurant just grinds to a halt, and all the pressure is on them to fix it, like right now. So, here's the crucial question. How do the dining room and the kitchen actually talk to each other? Well, they communicate through something called an API. The easiest way to think of an API is a very specialized waiter. The front end sends the waiter to the kitchen with a very specific order, and the back end gives that waiter a perfectly prepared plate of data to carry back out. But just like in a real restaurant, communication can break down. If the data doesn't show up in the dining room, the first thing the front-end developer yells is this: "The kitchen's not responding. Your API is down. The waiter came back with nothing." And almost immediately, the kitchen fires right back. They'll say something like, "We never even got the order because your waiter didn't have the secret password to get into the kitchen." This little blame game, is a tale as old as time in the web development world. Okay, so we get the two main areas of the restaurant. But even within the kitchen, there's a huge difference between the person who's just chopping vegetables all day and the person who actually designed the entire menu, right? This brings us to our next really important distinction. And this, right here, is the difference between a junior and a senior developer. It isn't just about speed or how many years they've been doing it. It's about the entire scope of their work and their whole way of thinking. They really are the line cook versus the head chef of our digital restaurant.
This table breaks it down so perfectly. A junior developer is focused on the how. How do I complete the specific task I was given? Their whole world is that one ticket, that one order. The senior, on the other hand, is constantly asking, why? Why are we even building this feature in the first place? Their scope isn't a single ticket. It's the entire system, the whole menu.
So here's what a junior developer's day might look like. They get these very specific, very well-defined tasks. It's the equivalent of being told, chop these onions into a quarter-inch dice, or plate this exact dessert, just like this. The task is super clear, and the goal is just to execute it perfectly. Now, compare that to the seniors list. It's a completely different world. They aren't just following orders, they're designing the whole system from the ground up. They're worried about the performance of the entire kitchen, not just one single dish. And crucially, a huge part of their job is to mentor the line cooks and make the entire team better.
So we have front-end and back-end. We have junior and senior. Now let's put it all together. Let's see how these different roles handle some real-world problems when the pressure is really on.
Okay, here's a classic. 5-alarm fire in any digital business. A customer complains the website is too slow. The dining room feels sluggish, and people are getting impatient and starting to leave. Not good.
A junior developer is going to jump right into action, looking for quick fixes they can make. They'll start trying to compress images or delete some code, tactical things. The senior, though, takes a step back. They'll set up a monitoring system to diagnose the source of the slowdown. Is the dining room just too cluttered and messy? Or is the kitchen actually taking way too long to get the food out? They find the root cause instead of just treating the symptoms. All right, let's try a different kind of situation. This isn't a problem, it's a new feature request from the restaurant owner. The customers are asking for a different kind of ambience, a new vibe. They want a dark mode.
Now, this is a really fascinating difference in thinking. The junior developer will go table by table, page by page, and manually change all the colors. It gets the job done, for sure. But the senior, thinking like a head chef, builds a system. They create a master light switch for the entire restaurant, a theme system. That way, the next time the owner wants to add a blue mode or a special holiday mode, it can be done with a single flip of a switch.
So, after all that, what are the key ingredients we need to remember from this whole thing? Let's just boil it down to the absolute essentials.
The first core concept is this. Front-end versus back-end, at its heart, is really about what you see versus what you don't. It's the visuals of the dining room versus the data and logic humming away in the kitchen.
And the second concept is just as important. The difference between a junior and a senior isn't really about age or years on the job. It's about their entire mindset. It's the tactical execution of the line cook versus the long-term strategy of the head chef. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you're using your favorite app, just take a closer look for a second. Are you just noticing the button, the specific feature, the how that a junior developer probably built? Or can you now see the underlying system, the architecture, the why that a senior developer carefully designed? Thanks for tuning in.